Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source. It's the backup channel backing Celeb up and bringing you all the breaking news. In commemoration of Martin Luther King Jr. and his life's work, a 20 by 25 foot bronze sculpture called The Embrace was unveiled in Boston. The statue, which took 5 years to make, was based on an image of Martin Luther King Jr. hugging his wife, Coretta, right after he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. And get this is the first monument to ever celebrate MLK and his wife together. Politicians and others from Boston joined the King family for the unveiling on the Boston Common. And during the unveiling ceremony, MLK's granddaughter, Yolanda Renee King, said, quote, "I love this monument. I also see the love and strength and unity in these hands and how they symbolize a beautiful marriage and partnership." End quote. The statue was erected in the same place where Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta had their first date. And MLK's son said, quote, "Boston became the place where they forged a partnership that would change America and make a powerful contribution to the Black freedom struggle. That's what I see in this beautiful monument." End quote. I think the monument is very nice and I'm very glad that they erected the monument. However, what I would like even more is for our schools to teach more about Martin Luther King Jr. than just the "I Have a Dream" speech. How, on God's green earth, do you teach about everything that Martin Luther King Jr. did for our society in 1 to 2 pages in a textbook? Okay, let me be fair, because they do teach you a little bit about the Montgomery bus boycott, and they might give you a little bit of the letter from a Birmingham jail, but aside from that, they really don't teach the full scope of MLK. They like to focus on the "I Have a Dream" speech because the "I Have a Dream" speech is very palatable to white people. White tea does not mind when Martin Luther King says we shouldn't judge others by the color of their skin but by the content of their character. I had a dream that all people are created equal. You hear that speech all the time, but you never hear when he's talking about black people coming for their checks. The "I Have a Dream" speech was 1963 Martin, but 1967 Martin was a little different. 1967 Martin was like, listen, desegregating them lunch counters didn't cost you nothing. Giving black people the right to vote didn't cost you nothing. But now, we want all of the dough that's owed to us for the work that our ancestors did for nothing in this country. 1967, Martin said, quote, "I must confess that dreams that I had that day has in many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future, but I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul searching and agonizing moments, and I've come to see that we have many more difficulties ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little too superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism." End quote. See, 1963 Martin was all about everybody getting along, singing Kumbaya and holding hands. However, 1967 Martin was like, listen, you owe us our 40 acres and a mule, and we want our reparations and checks now. And that is why 1968 Martin got assassinated. And that is also why they don't teach you about 1967 Martin in school. All right, on to the next story. In the spirit of MLK, Little Bow Wow believes that rappers need to unionize because they need an organization to help protect their rights. Little Bow Wow said, quote, "Hip-hop needs a board, no different than the NBA with the Players Association, a committee that can set rules, keep things in control, and protect this thing we call hip-hop, and have a retirement plan for the OG rappers. I hate seeing my heroes liquored out, no money, just washed." End quote. Well, after Little Bow Wow made those comments, I thought about it and I was like, wait a minute, how come there's no union for rappers? And then I did a little research and I realized there is a union for rappers, and it was created by Chuck D, Curtis Blow, KRS-One, and Doug E. Fresh. The Hip Hop Alliance was created in July of 2022, and on its website, the HHA says that it is, quote, "a strategic partnership that represents the needs and concerns of the hip-hop and R&B workforce through advocacy, information, and service." It says, "We are passionate about our mission to improve the working lives of creators." End quote. The website also says that membership to the organization is free, and if you join, they're going to help you out with copyright laws, resources to recoup your royalties, assistance with addiction, mental health, and more. I really like the idea of having a hip-hop union, because all of these rappers can't be 50 cents, you know what I'm saying? And you can't rap until you're like 99, unless you're Jay-Z. So these dudes are gonna need a pension plan. And I gotta tell you, there's nothing worse than seeing a dude who won a Grammy working at Dunkin' Donuts, and you gotta be like, listen, let me get the large with a little extra sugar. Listen, I'm not going to tell you who I saw working at Dunkin' Donuts, but I saw somebody working at Dunkin' Donuts. And please, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with working at Dunkin' Donuts. It's just that after you won a Grammy, you shouldn't be back behind the counter dunking the donuts. I mean, instead of asking me how many sugars I want in my coffee, that dude should have been kicking it in Cabo, relaxing off of his rap pension plan. Now check it out. Gangsta Boo was laid to rest at Brown Missionary Baptist Church in South Haven, Mississippi on Saturday, and Glorilla, as well as hundreds of other people, attended the service. Despite all the people that were there, fans could not help but notice that 2 people were missing, fellow 3-6 Mafia members DJ Paul and Juicy J. Well, after getting criticized for not showing up, DJ Paul went on Instagram the other day and he slammed everybody who had something to say. Under the caption, quote, "Don't owe none of you goofs the 2 minutes it took me to make this, but you better keep my name to the utmost, especially about my loved ones," end quote. DJ Paul wrote, quote, "Let me explain something to y'all BA ninjas out there who got something to say about me not coming to Boo funeral. Ninja, I paid for the funeral, ho. I'm on MFing tour, and even if I wasn't, I don't do funerals, ninja. The last time I was at a funeral, it wasn't nothing but a bunch of groupie A MFing ninjas up in that MFer. Boo know how much I loved her. I know how much she loved me, ninja. I ain't got nothing to prove to none of you punk A groupie A ninjas up in there," end quote. Listen, after DJ Paul finished his rant, he went on to defend Gangsta Boo's casket because a whole bunch of people online were saying that Gangsta Boo's casket looked mad cheap. DJ Paul was like, first off, Gangsta Boo was originally going to be cremated. Second off, Gangsta Boo did not want all of the bells and whistles. Yo, how you gonna come out of your face and say that somebody's casket looks mad cheap? That's just crazy. But that's what's wrong with some of us. We be having so much pride, and that's how the funeral homes be sticking us. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have the 20 gauge Tommy Hilfiger casket with the platinum handles, with the Jesus piece, with the plush pillows, with the 50-inch flat screen TV on the top of the casket so we could be watching on Netflix and Hulu while we're 6 feet underground. Listen, we need to do it like the Jewish people do it. They got that 1 pine box and everybody gets to rest in that 1 pine box. I gotta tell you, as a community, we really gotta get our priorities straight, because there's never a reason to walk away from a funeral talking about, did y'all see the casket that they put her in? They should be ashamed to put her in that casket. I know Sister Earl is rolling in her grave right now. Them cheap bastards. Listen, in other news, Kim Kardashian appears to dislike Kanye West's new wife. A source close to the Kardashian clan says Kim hates the chick because, quote, "she's pretty and Kim hates pretty girls," end quote. Oh, please. Out of all the things that Kim could be beefing about, she's beefing about the fact that the chick is pretty. Oh, geez, I can't. I just don't have time for it. Listen, on to the next story. It appears as if Tory Lanez is sitting in jail and he is putting together his own legal dream team, because not only has he hired Suge Knight's ex-attorney for his appeals team, now he's hired Jose Baez, the attorney that got Casey Anthony off the hook for allegedly murdering her daughter. Now what's crazy is not only did Jose Baez get Casey Anthony off the hook, but if you remember, he also got football player Aaron Hernandez off the hook when he was charged with double murder. Listen, based on these attorneys that Tory Lanez is stacking up, this dude might actually have a chance to get out of jail on appeal, even though he essentially admitted that he did it to Kelsey during the jail phone call. However, you gotta remember, nobody in the world looked more guilty than Casey Anthony when she was going through her trial and Jose Baez got her to walk. And I don't know if you know this, but now this chick has a documentary on Peacock where she's saying that the father did it. Now, on to the next story. Juice WRLD's former girlfriend, Ali Lottie, was arrested in West Memphis, Arkansas on Saturday night because the Popo found her in possession of methamphetamine or cocaine with the purpose to deliver. She was also charged with possession of drug paraphernalia and theft of property. Now, Lottie, who was supposedly an Instagram model and social influencer, was eventually released from the Crittenden County Detention Center on $2,525 bond. Listen, apparently this young girl has serious issues, and let's pray for her because we want her to do well, and I hate to see her in this situation. But you know what? A lot of these young girls become dependent on these rappers, and they don't have any life skills of their own. So when these dudes die, it's like they're just out there. Check it out. If there's a young girl listening out there, I want you to listen to me now. Your life skill cannot be you're a rapper's girlfriend, and your life skill cannot be I'm a rapper's baby mama. You gotta go out there and get you some education and get you some job experience, because if that dude is no longer around, you gotta be able to take care of yourself. What you need to do is while that dude is out on tour, you go and enroll in like a little JUCO or something and get you a degree so you can go out there and earn your own money. And that way, you won't be out in these streets like Juice WRLD's ex-wifey selling meth. Now check it out. The United Kingdom has officially banned a poster featuring Demi Lovato because they say that the poster is quote-unquote offensive to Christians. Demi, who now identifies as pansexual and non-binary, plastered the posters around the UK to promote her new album called Holy F. The posters feature a scantily clad Demi bound in BDSM gear laying on a crucifix-shaped bed. And apparently, 4 days after the posters went up, some people were walking around England and they were like, absolutely not, what is this? I gotta report this. And they filed complaints to the Advertising Standards Authority, also called the ASA, which is UK's self-regulatory organization which oversees the advertising industry. The complaints allege that the posters were, quote, likely to cause serious or widespread offense, end quote, and were, quote, irresponsibly placed, end quote, where children could see. And the ASA checked it out, and guess what? They agreed with the people who made the complaints. In a report released last week, the organization wrote, quote, the image of Lovato in a position with their legs bound to one side, which was reminiscent to Christ on the cross, together with the reference to Holy F, which in that context was likely to be viewed as linking sexuality to the sacred symbol of the crucifix, was likely to cause serious offense to Christians, end quote. In response to the ASA's report, Polydor Records, the Universal label that released Lovato's newest album, denied that the ads were offensive. Yo, you know what? It never ceases to amaze me that all of these artists out here have no problem disrespecting symbols related to Christianity. However, they would never try that with other religions. You would never see like a Demi Lovato butt naked laying on a giant Quran, or you would never see Demi Lovato with like a Torah scroll between her buns. You know what I'm saying? However, when it comes to Christianity, they'll do anything. And as far as like the young guys are concerned, why is it always like the shooters who always go out and buy the Jesus piece? Why would you buy the Jesus piece if you didn't believe in anything that the dude said? And I mean, what is it? You just like having a little white dude hanging around your neck? You never see dudes running around with like a little diamond bezeled Abraham or a Allah hanging around their neck. Let's think about what we're doing in these streets. Yo, what do you think about Demi Lovato and these posters? Do you think that it's alright? Do you think that it's offensive? Or do you think that Christians are just being overly sensitive? Let me know what you think in the comments. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celebrity news. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.